I'm devastated by this. This is absolutely unheard of. Like, we live this is a wonderful street, just a wonderful street. And to have this happen at the end of the street, it's devastating. There's children, there's small children.
We have 2 small kids in the house, which was extremely frightening to obviously hear that sort of series of noise. It would either have to be, fireworks going off or the obvious gunshots.
And in this case, it was gunshots, dozens of them spraying this neighborhood in Leslieville with bullets. Earlier today, there were 3 parked cars where you're looking right now riddled with bullets. Those have since been towed away, but police remain on scene here at this hour. Part of the street remains shut down, and police are here with K9 units, so clearly this investigation is ongoing. Now, we had a chance to speak with a lot of residents today who described the terrifying moments that woke them from their sleep.
It was bang, 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 bang. It went on for about 20 seconds, and then everything was quiet.
Quiet now, but signs of a devastating gunfight linger in the neighborhood. Bullet holes smashing windows, riddling parked cars, at least one finding its way through the porch door of this house. Yellow evidence markers reveal the shocking number of shell casings littering the street.
This is a wonderful street, just a wonderful street. And to have this happen at the end of the street, it's devastating.
Scary. It makes you sort of question, am I in the right neighborhood? Do I want my kids being around this? It is really just, unsettling.
It was 2:15 a.m. when the first shots were fired on Walpole Avenue outside this low-rise Toronto community housing complex, waking residents from their sleep. Police say it appears people in 2 separate cars were involved in the exchange of gunfire after some sort of altercation. One man is now fighting for his life. He was sitting in his car when he was apparently shot in the head. Do we know if the victim was targeted? Was he part of this shootout?
At this point, it's still quite early in the investigation. That's something the detectives and the investigators are looking into.
What a way to start the new year.
Coming off a year that saw a record number of homicides and spiking gun violence in Toronto, the city councillor for this ward, Paula Fletcher, is demanding action. She says a total of 60 bullets were fired here this morning.
Anybody could have been hit. It could have been a total, dreadfully sad occasion here in this neighborhood. So again, why are we not getting action on guns from the federal government? The city has asked so many times to get a handle on this. This isn't our area of jurisdiction, but we're begging and pleading. This can't go on.
While it is unusual to see brazen shootings like the one we saw here overnight, this particular area has been targeted in the past. In 2014, there was another high-profile shooting here that claimed the life of a 21-year-old and injured 3 others. Coming up, the call to end brazen public shootings like this one. A shootout in a quiet residential neighborhood near Leslieville has left the community shaken. It was around 2:15 a.m. when residents heard gunshots, and the councillor for this ward says about 60 bullets were fired. It was a brazen and public shooting for an area with so many children and so many families, and it seems in this city more and more unintended targets are repeatedly getting caught in the crossfire. Just a few examples. In July, there was a triple shooting in a popular Toronto neighborhood, Queen West, just outside Cube nightclub. 2 people were targeted in that shooting, the Toronto rapper known as Smoke Dogg and hip-hop producer Koba Prime. They were both killed, but another woman was caught in the crossfire. She survived but was rushed to hospital with injuries. In November, a 23-year-old man was shot while driving his vehicle on Highway 410 in Mississauga, an investigation revealing shooters mistook the victim for someone else. One of the most outrageous cases in June 2016 when a pregnant 35-year-old woman was fatally shot in the back seat of a car in Rexdale. Both her and the child victims of a drive-by shooting. The deaths sparking outrage at the time, drawing attention to the city's battle with gun violence. We asked City Councillor Paula Fletcher for a solution to the ongoing problem.
Curtailing the guns is number one, because you couldn't do this damage. People are using knives, but you couldn't do this damage and bystanders are not in danger. The gun curtailment, number one, and dealing with guns and gangs early, identification who's getting into the so-called dark side, the business of this, a gang world, and how to get kids away from that. People need jobs, they need things to do. We need to be on top of this, and unfortunately the Ford government withdrew about $300 million from programs for youth when it first got elected.
Fletcher says Toronto is bearing the brunt of poor policy decisions by both the provincial and federal governments. She's demanding immediate action.